All right, big breaking news coming in. Israel has launched a preemptive strike against Iran to confront imminent threats to the state, following which both sides have closed their airspace. Besides, neighboring Iraq's Erbil airport has also announced suspension of air traffic. Defense Minister Israel Katz has declared a special nationwide state of emergency, warning that a missile and drone attack on Israel's civilian population is expected imminently. Israel's military said it had protectively sounded air raid sirens in areas across the country to prepare the public for the possibility of missiles being launched towards Israel in retaliation. So big news coming in. Israel has launched a preemptive attack on Iran. Defense Minister Israel Katz says he declared an immediate state of emergency throughout the entire country. And the state of Israel has launched a preemptive strike against Iran to remove threats to the state of Israel, he said. And sirens sound across Israel as the IDF Home Front Command warns civilians to stay close to the bomb shelter. Also, Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei is not in Tehran. He has been transferred to a secure location, according to reports. Further, Israeli defense officials have said that Israeli operation in Iran has been in coordination with the US. The official added that the operation was planned for months and launch date was decided weeks ago. Further, according to Iranian media, in view of the attack, trading at Tehran Stock Exchange has been suspended. So according to Israeli defense official, Israeli operation in Iran was coordinated with the US. Also news coming in that US Embassy in Qatar implements shelter in place for all personnel. Like we said, Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei is not in Tehran. He has been transferred to a secure location. So big news that we are tracking in. Israel has launched a preemptive strike on Iran. Defense Minister Israel Katz says he declared an immediate state of emergency throughout the entire country. And the state of Israel has launched a preemptive strike against Iran to remove threats to the state of Israel. That's what he said. And sirens sound across Israel as the IDF Home Front Command warns civilians to stay close to the bomb shelters. Israel has closed its airspace, and the message says that due to the security situation, civilians should ensure they know what the optimal protected shelter near them is and avoid any non-essential travel. And the IDF says the proactive alert is intended to prepare the public for the possibility of missile fire towards the territory. And the army says that as of now, there is no need to enter the shelters. All right, we'll show you a statement on X. In fact, the post on X, and it was in fact posted at 11:55 a.m. Indian Standard Time. So this is the post following a situational assessment. It was determined that as of today, that is Saturday at 0800, immediate changes will be made to the Home Front Command guidelines. As part of the changes, it was decided to shift all areas of the country from full activity to essential activity. The guidelines include a prohibition on educational activities, gatherings and workplaces except for essential sectors. The public is required to follow the guidelines published on the official Home Front Command channels. Full guidelines will be updated on the National Emergency Portal and the Home Front Command app. So we'll get to know the scale and targets of Israel's preemptive strike. limited tactical operation at the beginning of a broader military campaign. But yes, this is big that Israel has in fact launched a preemptive attack on Iran. Katz says he declared an immediate state of emergency throughout the entire country. Airspace has been shut, it has been closed, and sirens sound across Israel as the IDF Home Front Command warns civilians to stay close to the shelters, in fact stay close to the bomb shelters. And the message reads out that due to the security situation, civilians should ensure that they know what the optimal protected shelter near them is and avoid any non-essential travel. All right, DD India's Jessica Taneja joins us to get us the latest. Jessica, can you confirm the scale and targets of Israel's preemptive strike?
Well, the update so far is, of course, a lot of embassies are being asked to let go of their staff from the premises, and there are reports here and there coming in that there could be, of course, you saw the statement from the Israeli Defense Forces. The IDF has also put out a statement cautioning people as well. But if you see the evolving situation we are in, there are multiple reports right now on social media and otherwise, not giving a very clear picture as to what's happening apart from what we've heard from the IDF so far. But tensions have been, prevalent in the relationship for quite some time now. And you'd recall just last month you had the announcement that the Americans would have the biggest armada that would sort of be in the Persian Gulf, and that has been the case from the likes of the USS Abraham Lincoln with its other warships accompanying it, along with, if you see, the USS Gerald Ford as well. So there's quite a lot of military buildup, so to say, in the region. And there were talks also ongoing between the Iranian side and the American side. You saw the recent attempts at talks between Iranian side, which was represented by Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, and the American side, of course, represented by Donald Trump's special envoy to West Asia, Steve Witkoff, along with Jared Kushner. In those moments, Oman had stepped in to mediate first, but then the talks were shifted to Geneva. And there you also heard from the Omani foreign minister, who said, he spoke to the US media and he said that it's still possible that if negotiators are given enough space to close remaining gaps, perhaps things could be moving forward. But there are also talks which are expected to resume in Vienna next week. But all of that currently understood as what is evolving and ongoing, and no current assessment of the level of predictability here, given how this entire region has seen flare-ups in the recent past. In June last year, you had Operation Midnight Hammer that the American forces conducted in the wee hours of the night, bringing in B-2 bunker buster bombers to completely obliterate, according to the American Defense Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, in a sense where all the nuclear facilities were completely obliterated the last time around, and with the presence of the International Atomic Energy Agency chiefs as well, where there was no further inspection done on the site as to what the real assessment is. Because at the heart of this issue, Abhishek, is the negotiation that still doesn't seem to have gained that momentum, which is American side insisting that the Iranians give up their nuclear program, stop enriching uranium, stop supporting the proxies, both Hezbollah and the Houthis, who have created quite a lot of trouble. The Houthis, of course, in the Red Sea, constant threats of attack to oil tankers being carried by the Americans. On the other side, you have the Hezbollah, which has given a lot of trouble in Lebanon to not just the Israeli forces, but also the American. You see the rampant military strikes, and that has been heightened there as well. So, all in all, this is leading to wider security concerns just beyond the region, because if you look at the American bases and Air Force bases that have been spread across the entire region, with the consensus of those countries especially the West Asian countries, that America has had some kind of understanding in the past, from Abraham Accords to Donald Trump first making his official visit to these Arab nations was quite significant moment in itself, and spoke of how important the ties are between those two, partnerships. So, given all of that and context in place, it is still very uncertain of what these strikes would mean. So, are they limited military strikes, which would then go on to target only nuclear facilities, as is the claim and the aim of the American forces and the Israeli demands simultaneously? Or will it be a wider escalation where the Iranian missile facilities, their air defense systems will also be targeted? So we'll have to wait and see on how this evolves, really.
Exactly, but you've been following the tensions in West Asia, Jessica. What do you make of this? Are these limited tactical operations, or you think it is the beginning of a broader military campaign?
Well, it is, of course, very uncertain at this point to say whether this is an attempt of a limited military strike, or is this akin to some wider crackdown that the American and the Israeli forces have planned. Of course, there's a lot of assessment out there to see who has the military strength and the might to take down the other. But you'd recall from the past as well, there have been instances where the Iron Dome has been able to thwart all of those missiles, been able to defend those missiles, while a couple of those Iranian missiles, the Fatah 1 and the Fatah 2, falling out of the ambit. That's 1 in 100 case. Of course, you remember that missile fire exchange. So it's quite uncertain. There could be 100 missiles, being fired from across, but it still remains to be seen as to what the exact aim of the operation is, and it's quite difficult at this time to make that exact assessment, because we don't know to what extent is the American ambition when it comes to keeping in mind their security concerns in the region. While one would like to focus on diplomacy and dialogue, that is what the Iranian side has been attempting for a very long time. And if you look at what the Americans are insisting as well, they're saying that we're giving the chance to the Iranians to come on the table or else be capitulated. These were also some of the statements that came out, to which the Iranian foreign minister Raza Bagchi said, we will not be capitulated, we'll be anything but capitulated. So that is quite a lot of exchange of words as well, which brings more predictability on the table than a clarified understanding of what the two sides are heading towards.
Also, Jessica, Israel has declared a nationwide emergency. Also tell us, what does this mean for the civilians on the ground?
Well, they've seen such emergencies being declared in the past as well. Since October 7, 2023, things have not been same for Israeli citizens. Of course, there are bunkers they can go to and seek, safety and shelter. But at this point, I think it's more or less kind of a common understanding, so to say, with the tensions given in the region, that these advisories or these safety mechanisms would be put out in place for those citizens. As Israel does, it's quite well prepared to defend anything and everything that comes its way. But with the Iranian side not giving up too much, because from the recent talks, what we've been able to gather is the Iranian side says they will not give up their nuclear program and they will not stop enriching uranium, which was the primary demand, so to say, both from the Israelis and the Americans. But for the Iranians, a heavily sanctioned country with massive economic woes. You saw the protests starting January, late January, and people that took to the streets from Grand Bazaar in Tehran to a lot of cities around Tehran, and people visibly upset with not being able to put food on the table. So those are the kind of issues as well. But if you look at how this goes beyond the current situation we're seeing, again, as I said, it's almost as uncertain.
Also, Jessica, we are getting this information that Israeli media has reported that a US-Israeli joint attack is underway on Iran, and several rounds of negotiations, of course, have taken place, the last of which was just 2 days ago. Then the Omani foreign minister, who was the chief negotiator in those indirect talks between the US and Iran, went to Washington and spoke with the US Vice President J.D. Vance just in the past 12 hours, hoping that his efforts could avert a confrontation. And Khamenei's residence in Tehran has been destroyed. And in fact, Jessica, US official confirms that US strikes on Iran are underway. Jessica?
Well, yes, that confirmation has come in. As I'm seeing the reports, I'm sorry, I haven't been able to see that confirmation coming in. But to give our viewers a bit of perspective, this is a joint military exercise with the Israelis, and it'll be some time where we'll be able to tell as to which other Arab nations have joined in for this particular military operation that is now underway in Iran. And with a lot of media reports coming in, unverified, of course, to caution our viewers about the multiple sources of information available right now on the internet that could potentially lead to very misleading factual analysis. Just to put our viewers in perspective, and we'll quote all the agencies that have been putting out those updates yet. What we do know, there have been explosions, of course, also heard in various parts of Iran, all unverified at this point. But this is what we're gathering from multiple sources on the ground right now who are giving timely updates. And also the Iran's National Security Committee also is going to look at this very carefully. A lot of misleading reports about the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei, not being there are also not true or verified at this point. So caution our viewers on that as well. But as is understood from both the
Jessica,
Israeli side and the Iranian side, there are